The Indian pharma company Lupin is out with its latest earnings. Gross profit for the fiscal third quarter was up slightly quarter on quarter, but down about 6% on the previous year. EBITDA was down nearly 50% year on year. Lupin is the third largest pharma player in the US generics market, and it saw its US sales continuing to rise. It's also launched a new COVID drug in India, which has been granted emergency use authorization in the country to treat higher risk adults with COVID. The molnupiravir drug has already been approved by UK and US regulators to treat mild to moderate COVID cases. Now, Ramesh Swaminathan is the Executive Director and the Global CFO at Lupin, joining us from Mumbai this morning. Ramesh, thank you very much indeed for being with us. Give me your thoughts on those results. Give me your thoughts on those results. Explain how you interpret them, please.
Well, there has been growth, all-round growth across most of our markets. India, of course, is a slight degrowth because of the fact that the Q2 and Q1 are generally much better than the Q3, so to speak. But otherwise, we have actually done pretty well in terms of growth across various other markets, including Americas. This particular quarter, the results were stymied by the fact that there were some extraordinary items which have been included as part of other expenses. This relates to some returns that we had, which were not expected. And we have also taken an extraordinary provision relating to some products relating to acute therapy products like oseltamivir, which, in the entire flu season was virtually absent for the last couple of years because people are not venturing out. So there were products out there which had already aged. So as a measure of abundant caution, we have taken these provisions as well. If you were to exclude these two provisions, so to speak, our EBITDA margins would have been much higher, at least about 13.5%, 13.8%. Vis-a-vis, this, of course, a slight decline vis-a-vis the previous quarter. But we're actually guided for a lackluster performance for the next, for this year, because it's actually a pretty tough year for us. And we expect this to continue for the next couple of quarters, so to speak.
What are the headwinds you're facing in the coming quarters?
Well, essentially because, as I said, we are in kind of restructuring mode because we are kind of invested ahead of the curve in terms of, our factories, in terms of SG&A expenses and the like. We are in the process of restructuring our entire new chemical entity business and others as well. We just, we got into a distribution mode insofar as our flagship product for specialty, Solosec. So, all of this will actually bear fruit, but it's actually take another couple of quarters at least before you could see the results. Towards the second half of next year, we have, in fact, a line of a slew of products, so to speak, which could include products like Suprep. We do expect, in fact, the end of this fiscal to get into some more, inhalation products, Spiriva, for example. And of course, on the biosimilars front, so all of these are lined up, but until those come to fruition, it is going to be a little, a tough ride for us.
What are your plans for the China market and your development there? This linkage with Shenzhen Fengku, where do you see that going?
So you signed up a partnership with Fengku for a number of products in the CNS field. As you would recognize, that's actually a pretty strong company with a strong presence in the CNS field as well. It caters to well over 5,000 hospitals. We believe that this is going to be, our vehicle for distributing a lot of our products which have already been approved in the American market. And this partnership will help us to our first foray into the Chinese market, so to speak.
And quickly on this new drug that you're introducing in the Indian market for combating COVID symptoms, tell me a bit more about that. Do you expect that to be a big player? Is this just a short-term band-aid for the current epidemic situation?
Firstly, on the pandemic itself, as you recognize, I think it's kind of peaked and things are actually coming back to normal. A lot of people are going back to work, and so are schools. Schools are opening up and the like. The number of people who have been impacted, even if they get impacted, it's not as it's not overwhelming, in terms of the illness. It's basically for a few days and so on. Molnupiravir has been given emergency use authorization by the DCGI in India for adult patients with COVID-19. It's still early days, so a few others have also launched it. But we do expect, if there is indeed a pandemic rise, this could be certainly of use, so to speak.
All right, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much indeed for being with us this morning. The Director and Global CFO at Lupin, joining us from Mumbai, that is Ramesh Swaminathan. Coming up on the show, Facebook